entered college in 2006, and since childhood it was all sports. Actually, it comes from my family, my uncles, my grandparents. It was all sports from childhood, so I was a very huge fan of cricket and rugby, to be particular. So I entered in 2006 and I started sports straight away. I started rugby first when I was in grade 3, and then I started to play cricket when I was in grade 6. So it was a really good childhood for me. I enjoyed a lot. So I worked with a lot of coaches throughout my career. My first coach was my brother actually, and then actually my first coaches were Lakshman Pandratna sir and then Indika Fernandez sir. Then I worked with Samita Danushka when I was in under 13, and then I worked with Burke sir and Vikas sir when I came to the under 15, and when I came to the under 17 I worked with Basnayaka sir and Sampath sir in 2017 when we won the Division 1 under 17 runners up. And I worked with Ranavaka sir, Sujiva sir, Theeksha Gunasinghe sir, and once again Sampath sir and Sunet sir in my under 19 career. Sunet sir was actually my last coach. I started playing rugby when I was in grade 3. Well, I had no idea of what the sport was, or those days we didn't have under 9 or 10. So I straight away went for under 12 practices. I didn't have a place, but still, because I loved the game so much, I just went for practices and I would just stay around the team and play with them together. I'll just run around during practice sessions, and that's how I started my rugby actually. I started my rugby before I started my cricket. When I was in grade 3, and then on that point onwards I was elected the captain of the under 12 squad, and once again I captained the under 14 team where we became the All Island Plate champions. And then in 2015 when I captained the under 16 team was actually the breakthrough in rugby, because we became the All Island champions when I was in under 16 back in 2015, and then I started playing for the first 15 squad from 2016 onwards. So rugby definitely played a huge part in my personal as well as my cricketing life. So yeah. Well, I did my O-levels in 2016. That was when I was playing my second year in cricket in the first 11 squad, and I was playing my first year in the first 15 rugby squad as well. So it was quite tough in that year, but still I was okay with studies since childhood. I had decent grades in my primary school as well. So coming into O-levels, I actually had that mindset of I'm going to do it somehow, because I had that confidence planted inside of me. So a lot of credit should go to my parents, my brother and my teachers as well, because they played a huge role. It wouldn't have been possible without them, especially my parents. I would come to school for early morning practice sessions. I would straight away come for school and then stay for evening practice sessions, and straight away after practice sessions I will go. My dad would come to pick me up and then take me for extra classes or give me a huge support. And I was not that child who was always in class. So my teachers at school as well, they played a huge role. They always supported me. So the mindset was actually positive that I could do it, but I didn't want to stress things out. I just kept it simple, and I just focused on enjoying when I was on the field. I was focusing on enjoying that. When I was in class and I was studying, I just focused on that. So I think it turned out well. So I started my first 11 season back in 2014. I made my debut in 2014 against St. Peter's here at college. So the speciality is in that year my brother Theeksha Gunasinghe was the captain, and I played the match together with him. I scored only 7 runs in that match in my debut. So both of us were batting together in the middle, and I went as a number 3 batsman. My brother came in as a number 4, and both of us were batting. And then I remember some great moments. He was bowling, then I was at the slips, and I took a catch. And then those were a few memorable moments in that game. And that season was also something to remember. So we had a good season against our traditional sides. We beat Royal, St. Thomas, we chased down 300 and beat Anand in that year as well. I played only 1 match, and the big match also we won first innings by 1 run in our career, and the one-day encounter against Trinity was drawn for the first time in history. So that was a very good season, but unfortunately because we didn't do pretty well in our tournament games, we were demoted to the Division 2, and that was a huge blow for us moving on to the next season. So going on to the next season, I played under Punaka Vijayatunga. That season again was we had quite a few good games, but unfortunately we couldn't promote the college to the Division 1. I played only 3 games in that season, and then the next season was under the captaincy of Kanishka Uggalpaya. That year Ranavakasa came in as the head coach, and even in that season we set a record by winning 3 outright games in a row, and we had once again a quite good season, but we were unfortunate that we couldn't promote the college to the Division 1, and the pressure was huge. Being in that dressing room was always a nervous feeling, because knowing that St. Anthony's College has been dominating schools cricket in the 90s, and we were in that dressing room losing games, struggling to promote the college to the Division 1, and it was always running in the back of my mind. So the boys as well as the coaches went through a lot in those days. And then the next season was in 2017 under the captaincy of Muhammad Alpha. So that season Sampath sir came in as the head coach, and it was the year where we were to play our 100th big match. So that was again one of the most memorable years of my life. Unfortunately we couldn't do well in that season. We couldn't promote to the Division 1, and the big match was washed off. So once again moving on to the 2018 season was once again that nervousness, that guilt inside our hearts were there always, because we were still playing in the Division 2 after about 3-4 years being demoted. So in 2018 once again Sampath sir was the head coach, and we had an awesome season that year. We beat a lot of teams, we were doing quite well in the tournament, and we were so close to being promoted. So for a team to be promoted, you should reach the finals, which means you should win the semi-final. So we went to Campbell Park to play St. Anne's at the semi-final, and it broke our hearts when we lost that game. We lost first innings, and we just missed our opportunity by an inch. So that was a heart-breaking moment in that season. Once again we couldn't do really well in the big match, and we lost the one-day encounter as well. But we knew that we were so close, and then finally it was in 2018 and 19 under my captaincy that we were able to promote the college to Division 1 and do pretty well during the season. And coming into the season of 2018-19 under the captaincy of Janidu Himsara, I was the vice captain of the side. We did quite well in that season. We won a lot of outright games. We got that winning momentum within the side, and we did quite well against good sides. That season we came so close to promote the college to the Division 1. So for a team to promote, you should reach the finals. So in that year we came up to the semi-finals and we lost that game against St. Anne's. I can still remember that match, played at Campbell Park. So that was quite a good season for us, but unfortunately once again we couldn't promote the college to Division 1 and we didn't do really well in the big match and the one-day encounter. So, but that season played a huge part in all of the players, because we knew that something was inside us, that we were so close to reach our goal, and we carried that momentum, that confidence within us to my season in 2018-19, where we were able to promote the college to the Division 1 as well as win the big match as well. Well, the 2018-19 season was actually the season that all of us have been waiting for quite a long time. You know, going into that season, we went through a lot before going into that season, because you know, we've tried so much and we've fallen short, but the players knew we had a really good unit. A lot of experienced players together with a good set of young guns, really a balanced side. So we knew that because we have been performing well during our under 17 season as well, we were the all-Ireland runners-up. So we carried that confidence once again with us. So during that season, we're talking about the performances. We played 22 games with all the tournament games, semi-finals, finals, all of them, and all the traditional games. So out of 22, we lost 3 first innings, we won 8 outrights, and we won 7 first inning games. So that season, well, our main aim was once again, just like the recently concluded ones, was to promote the college to the Division 1. And we put our heart and soul into that. That was all that was running through our minds in that season. So we dominated the first round, the second round, and the semi-final was a bit tough, but that we once again managed to pull off a good win. And then going into the finals was job almost done. So we managed to you know, conquer that challenge, and the rest of the games were actually once again quite memorable. We did really well in our traditional games. We beat Royal in our traditional games. We beat sides like St. Joseph's. We won the big match. And talking about the St. Joseph's game played for the Muralivas Trophy, we were able to win that game by an innings and 17 runs after 28 years. So that was a huge booster in the middle of the season for us, because you know, the Joes had a really good lineup. They had a few national caps as well, just like we did. So going into that game, which was played right here at college, we knew that it was going to be a tough encounter, but all that we wanted was to do well. So we wanted to play the best cricket that we possibly can, and then perform well during that game. So I remember that game. That was one of the best games that I've played in my whole life. We won the toss and we selected to bowl. The Joes were bundled out for 213, and then in our reply we scored 354 runs, as I can remember. Once again in that game, I played my best inning in my school cricket career. I scored 142. Together with Kalhara, I put on a 202 record partnership. Kalhara scored 106 runs, and then during their second inning, they were all out for 113 or 19 runs, as I can remember, when Nimnagar came in and, you know, did what he does normally. He captured 5 wickets in the first inning, and he caused havoc in the Josephian batting lineup in the second inning. He took 7 wickets. So we were so you know, emotionally up after that game, because I know it's an ordinary game, but that particular game played a huge part in our success moving forward. And then once again the big match, we won the first inning, and we did quite well in that season as a team as well as individually. I scored 1,000 runs, Nimnagar got 100 wickets, and we were selected as the best team in the Central Province and the best emerging team in Sri Lanka. So we did quite well, and I'm really happy that I was able to lead that season and contribute to the college. Well, that credit should actually go to all the people who voted me, actually, because that was once again, I think in that season that was a reward for me for all the effort and blood and sweat that I had to put in to bring fame to the team as well as to the college, because that season was once again a memorable one for us. I was able to score 1,000 runs with 3 centuries and 5 half centuries. I did quite well with the bat and behind the wickets. So I think that achievement should, the credit should always go to the people who voted for me, especially my family, friends and all the supporters. So that has actually played a huge role, a huge part in my life, not only cricket as well as personal life as well. So I'm really glad that I was able to pull that award out. Well, rugby has always been a big part of my life. You know, I don't think that if I didn't play rugby, I would come this far in cricket, or if I didn't play cricket, I would come this far in rugby. So it was more like a balance between the two sports. And well, I started my first cricketing career in 2016 under the captaincy of Pasindu Dulshan, where so from that season onwards, from that year onwards, the 2 seasons were, you know, going together. So I had to finish my cricket season, and then because of that I missed the whole first round of rugby. So after the first round I had to go for rugby. So it was quite challenging, especially physically, to keep up the fitness and you know, prepare for the rugby season. But with the support of the coaches and trainers, my friends, my teammates, I was able to balance the two. So and then in 2017 under the captaincy of Theeksha Gunasinghe, we did quite well. And then once again in my last season of 2019, I wasn't able to play the first round, most of the games in the first round because of cricket, but still I wanted to play. So I just didn't want to finish my cricket season, did quite well. I just didn't want to stop and focus on my A-levels. I wanted to play so bad. So because of that, I decided, let me finish it. And then I went and rugby has always been a huge part, like I said. Actually the turnaround was back in 2015 when we won the Under-16 All-Island Championship. In that year I captained the Under-16 side, and that was actually the turning point in my rugby career that helped me carry that momentum until I ended my season in 2019 as a 4th year player of rugby. Well, that season we didn't perform really well, but the thing is we did well during matches. We just couldn't get the result to our side. You know, we lost games in 2 or 3 points. It was so close, but as a team we couldn't perform really well on the field, but we always took it positively. We never put our competitors down. We always respected them. We always took things positively on our side, and we always wanted to play the best rugby that we possibly can out there in the field. So the team culture was basically based upon discipline. So discipline is a huge factor even within the college. So all the team culture was based on discipline. So I think that is the main reason that we were able to be judged as the most disciplined school. Once again, the credit should always go to the spectators as well, because it's not just how the team performs out there in the field. It always has a big thing to do with the spectators who are watching from the stands as well. So all in all, I think the credit should go to everyone, starting from the college, the principal, the administration, the teachers, the students, the spectators and the old boys, and finally the team and the coaches as one unit who were able to keep the spirit up and accept both success and defeat equally. Well, when I was in primary school, I used to do a lot of things, I was like multitasking. There was a time when I played rugby, cricket, basketball. I did athletics at the same time, and then I did my scholarships. I passed my scholarships. I was the primary head prefect, and well, I did a lot of stuff when I was in the primary school. But the real challenge was when I came to the final years of my college, when everything went together: rugby, cricket, studies. So it was not easy. But in 2017, to be honest, in 2017 when Hasida Boygoda of Trinity, he captained Trinity, he did pretty well. He did really well in the international stage, played for the under-19 Sri Lankan cricket team, and he was able to become the district second doing commerce in his A-level. So that really triggered me. I considered him as one of my role models. So I wanted to be like him, and I just wanted to do the best I can in whatever I did. So studies was not easy. Once again, a lot of credit should go to all my teachers here at college, as well as the teachers who supported me extra during my extra classes. So I think they played a huge role, because I was not that student who would always be seated in front of a whiteboard. So I missed a lot of classes, and it was a huge challenge to cover those up. So studies, once again, just like I said, I just kept it simple, just like I did in my O-levels. So I didn't want to put too much of pressure on me, because I knew that from the start I was working. I didn't miss out. I tried my best to keep updated, and I never stopped working. I think that was the key. I always kept on working, even a little. So I wasn't like, I didn't completely neglect or forget studies. So I knew that this was coming, this pressure was coming, this stress was coming towards the later part. So I just didn't want to go through that. I was just keeping up with the pace. So I just kept it simple, and luckily I was able to do well during my A-levels as well. Well, back at school, actually, I was this kind of good kid, this example to everyone. So I wasn't really publicly caned or pushed out of class, to be honest. And a little part of me regrets that you should have been a bit more what would I call it, a bit more notorious at school, because I was but I bunked classes. I bunked a lot of classes just because I didn't want. I would come for practices, and I would like keep avoid classes. I would just hang around somewhere, because I was a prefect as well. So I think I should have been a bit more notorious. But apart from that, thanks to my sports, I really enjoyed school and my days at college.
Who are your gang?
Well, of course, the prefects. In our class there were about 20 students, and 18 of them were prefects. So always, even during class, we were always having that prefect conversations, and once again the gang was rugby and cricket people. So I remember being labelled as the the rough people. When I was in grade 8, the science teacher would come and make all the Ruggerites stand, and she would just blackguard us in front of everyone. She would just say that we were the set who spoiled the class. So I think that's one of the proudest moments that I had when I was in grade 8. So always the gang was circling around prefects, Ruggerites and cricketers.
Any names?
For the future?
No, the names of the...
For the names? Oh yeah, for sure. So the number one rascal would be Mohammad Magari, who was also the rugby captain, who also got 3 years and did well during college. And then Savin Veerasinghe, Suhail Wasim, Ayaz Ahmed, Pramil Samaji, a lot of them. Kapil Amar Singh, Ruwan Amar Singh, a lot of them. It was all prefects. I should mention Batale. No one knows his name. His name is Shashika Vijayawardhana. So even all of that, Lashan, all of us were like in the same gang. And once again it circled around prefects, Ruggerites, Tamash and cricket. And yeah. Yeah, for sure. I should actually, a lot of teachers to remember, but this is not the time to say everyone's names. But especially when I was in primary school, Ann teacher and Ruwan sir and Sharon teacher and Dhammika teacher were really pivotal in my journey. And then coming into my O-levels, I remember a lot of teachers. It's really hard to name them because there's a lot. So in general, I would like to thank all of them for supporting me. And then coming into my A-levels, Palika teacher, and then Sumudu teacher, all of the teachers at school. Even though I was in the commerce section, all the teachers in the science section, the arts section, all of them would happily support me if I was in front of them. So at this moment I would like to thank each and every one of them, just not naming few. I would like to thank each and every one of them for being really supportive and for playing a huge role in my life, as well as all the old boys and the principal for sure, Father Henry, and all the administration for supporting and guiding me throughout. I never expected this because I thought I'll try to get about 3 Bs maximum, but I never expected this result. Well, I should say maybe I was the one who was mostly surprised because look, people had big expectations because I did well in my O-levels. So people thought that I would pull something special in these A-levels as well. But I wasn't really expecting that result, and I still remember that moment when I checked my results back at home. It wasn't, I never knew that results were released. It was the same during O-levels. I never knew the results were released until one of my friends called. Actually, Janidu called during O-levels, and during A-levels, one of my friends from the cricket team called Nilushan, he was the person who first called me and asked the results, and I didn't even know. So once I checked it, it was magic. It was a magical moment. It was never expected, and my parents were really happy. They were in tears, and that was a brilliant memory. Yeah. So I think my college career, I've sacrificed a lot. I've never been this ordinary kid at school who would go on, school trips. I've never gone on a school trip since I was in grade 8. So I've sacrificed a lot. I've put in a lot of effort, put in a lot of time to win all of this. But I think going into the future, this will be a huge milestone as well as a confidence booster for me to keep my head high at all times, to face all kinds of difficulties, challenges, to get through all of them. So my future would lie definitely in the business entrepreneurship side, because I have a passion for that. Currently I'm not engaged with any sports. I've discovered CrossFit lately, so I'm really in love with it. So I think, yeah, moving ahead, this will surely be a really great weight that I carry with myself, and I won't call it that proud. I don't think I'll be proud, but instead I'll be humble and grateful for all these achievements that I've had in my college career, and yeah, forever grateful and thankful for all of that. Well, my first thought was I wasn't really going through my sports career, because I had a lot of injuries towards the latter part of my school career, so which was once again a bit quite challenging towards the end, but I managed to somehow hold up. So well, to be honest, I'm not really fascinated by a huge sporting career, but if by any chance I enter the university and play inside of that and I get a break, never know how life plays out. So if I get an opportunity, it's always something. I think as a person I wouldn't really pursue a career, but if by any chance I get an opportunity and it works really well, you never know. Sometimes I might end up being a cricketer or a Ruggerite. So yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank Quadrangle for recognizing me as a marvel. So with that being said, giving an advice, I would say to keep things simple and enjoy the process actually, because that's one of the biggest learnings I've had during the end of my career. Because in the early stages I would completely focus on the end result rather than focusing on the process. So for an example, if I do an exam, I would only focus on the result instead of working myself in that process. So towards the end of my career, even when it came to cricket or rugby, it was all about focusing on the process. So the one thing that I would say is to enjoy the process. Do everything with passion, develop an interest towards it. I know studying or A-levels and O-levels are not everyone's cup of tea, but what I would say is develop an interest towards it, because here in our country we have to do it. We definitely should do it. So it's not about just saying that I don't like it, but instead try and enjoy the process, and eventually, consequently, the result will be on your side 9 times out of 10. So enjoy the process, keep it simple, and keep smiling and having fun all the time.